Well, based on reports, there is such a thing as operational computer in Nanjing, which is connected to the server in the Philippines that can control the availability of electricity in the country. Can you comment on this? There, NGCP, are you aware that the State Grid Corporation of China has its own publication? Secretariat, kindly flash the publication which says SGCC first time acquired right to run transmission grid outside China. What is your basis for saying that it cannot be controlled remotely? Are you that expert?
Based on my experience and my knowledge, our SCADA system is actually isolated, ma'am. It's not connected in the internet, so you cannot easily control it remotely.
And with that answer, are you trying to say that during that time, hindi kaya ng Filipino citizens to supply the technology or the technical aspect of the NGCP operation?
At that time, Mr. Chair, yes.
At that time, yes. And of course, when you say technology or technical operation, that goes to the heart of the very operation of the NGCP. And you were saying hindi kaya ng mga Pilipino. Tama po ba ito, NGCP? At least during that time.
During the time.
At kung hindi ito kaya ng Pilipino during that time, then it follows during that time, we were solely dependent on our Chinese counterpart who owns the 40%. Yes or no?
Mr. Chair, can I give a context? Because the bid document, Mr. Chair, requires for a technical partner.
Mr. Chair, I'm just following the answer of our resource persons. We go back to 2008. You said during that time, hindi kaya ng mga Filipino. Then it follows that during that time, we are solely dependent to these Chinese corporations and citizens in as far as the operation of NGCP, a public utility corporation, which ownership and operation is protected by no less than the Philippine Constitution.
Mr. Chair, kung sinasabi nating Pilipino, meron yung mga pong employees ni Transco na after na-incorporate na si NGCP at si NGCP na po ang concessionaire, yung ito pong mga employees na technical ng Transco has been assumed. So,
however, Mr. Chair, even considering that they have Filipino employees, of course we understand that the citizenship of the corporation is determined by the extent of ownership of the owners. If the owners' majority are foreigner, then it is a foreign corporation. Otherwise, it is a Filipino corporation. If I may proceed, Mr. Chair. Another important information I came across with is the working group of NGCP. Ano po ba itong working group of NGCP?
Mr. Chair, sorry, I missed like
NGCP working group. Have you come across this?
TWGs, Mr. Chair, but literally working group. I am aware of the technical working group of
All
each
right.
department.
Please allow this representation to continue. Under the working group of NGCP, there are two important officers. One is Chairman Yuan Ming Jun. He is described as acting officer, acting chief technical officer. And another is alternate chairman, Chan Chang Wei. These two play significant role in the evaluation of bids and in making recommendation for the award of contract. May I request the Secretariat to please flash the document of first, Aurora Polanco project. Next is EB Magalona Bacolod project. These are all transmission projects. And third is the document pertaining to the purchase of site of Cebu, Panay, Negros project. Secretariat, please, at least to satisfy the committee that these two Chinese nationals under the working group of NGCP indeed did the evaluation of bids and a recommendation for the award of contract. Do we have the documents, Secretariat? While we are waiting for their documents, I wish to add, Mr. Chair, that there's another Chinese national, this time Wen Bo. He is the Chief Technical Officer, associated as well with State Grid China Corporation. And he is the one who evaluated and recommended the expansion of Las Piñas Zapote project. I hope the Secretariat can flash all these 4 documents to show to the committee that these Chinese nationals participated, or in fact, they were the one who evaluated the bids submitted and thereafter recommended the award of contract. Considering the information, Mr. Chair, that this representation have relayed already, the chairman is a Chinese national. Other executives, Zhang Yuwang and Xin Juwan, are both Chinese nationals. And then we have this working group of NGCP, Ming Jun, Cheng Wei, and a certain Wen Bo, participating in the evaluation of bids, all Chinese nationals. And NGCP continue to maintain that the managerial and executive officers are Filipino citizens. Mr. Chair, I am prompted to ask for a complete rundown of the remaining key officials of NGCP, which the NGCP representatives, I hope, will provide at the soonest possible time. Mr. Chair. To proceed, Mr. Chair, NGCP, are you aware that the State Grid Corporation of China has its own publication?
I am not aware, Mr. Chair.
Secretariat, kindly flash the publication which says SGCC first time acquired right to run transmission grid outside China. This publication, from the perspective of China, totally rejects the position of the NGCP that the Filipinos are in control of the NGCP. Because as you can see from this publication, it is the SGCC itself which is claiming that for the first time, they acquired right to run transmission grid outside China, referring to the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines. May we hear the comment of the NGCP?
Your Honor, this write-up was not written by NGCP. This write-up is...
I understand. But going back to the question, do you still maintain the position that the managerial executive officers are Filipino citizens? Do you still maintain the position that Filipinos are in control of NGCP?
Unequivocally, Your Honor, I maintain that position.
It seems to me that the course have changed already, considering the significant officers who have been participating in the operation of the NGCP aggravated by that publication coming from one of the major stockholders of the NGCP, that is the State Grid Corporation of China. That is a manifestation, Mr. Chair. To continue, Mr. Chair, NGCP, nasan po ba ang switchboard ninyo? You don't know?
Your Honor, it's a technical term. We have technical people here.
May we
I-
ask the technical people?
Your Honor, definition? May we have a clarification
Yes,
insofar as that term?
may we
switch-
know, okay, so you're calling in the technical people to help out. Can we have their names and what position do they occupy in the organization? Sino po sila?
Good afternoon. I'm Clark Agustin from the...
Pakilakas lang po.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm Clark Agustin from the System Operations. If you're referring to the control
From
system...
what? From what?
System Operations.
He taken his oath, Comsec, please take the oath of the, of Mark. Tumayo po kayo.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth before this congressional inquiry, so help you God? Thank you.
Answer the question of the Honorable Luistro.
Your Honor, if they're referring to the control system, our SCADA system, we have 3 control centers in the different regional grids. We have in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao.
How many switchboard or control system do you have?
1 for each region, ma'am.
One for
Actually,
each region.
We have 3 control
What
centers.
controls the switch or the control system per region? Meron ka pa bang main control that controls all the switch and the control system of all these regions? I believe yes.
Yes, ma'am. We have the control center for each region, and then we have substations for the equipment level control. For the system level control, we use the control centers using our SCADA system.
Where is the system control?
From the control center, ma'am.
Where is the control center?
For Luzon, we have here in Diliman. For Visayas, in Banilad. And in Mindanao, in Cagayan de Oro.
These control systems, which you mentioned, they have the capacity to cause the blackout of electricity. Am I correct?
Not to cause a blackout, but to control our transmission assets and
If I want to
substations.
turn off the electricity, I just need to switch off the control system. Am I correct?
1 by 1 per equipment. You
One
can do
by
that.
one.
Yes, ma'am. We can control it remotely.
So, kanina you mentioned about the main control. How many main controls do you have?
We have a control center monitoring and controlling different equipment of the grid.
How many main controls do you have?
So we have a system, pag control po ma'am, not necessarily, as I get from your question, isang button, wala po siyang ganun. So kasi different parts po ng grid, different assets, different control. So if you want to operate a certain circuit breaker, kailangan mong operate that specific breaker.
But
A
at least
specific
if,
feeder, yeah.
if I turn off one of those, did you say assets
Yeah.
of that control system, then the electricity will not work anymore. If I turn off one of the several assets of the main control system, the electricity will not work anymore.
If you intentionally isolate a specific area, that specific area will not have electricity, will not have supply of power for that specific area associated to that equipment.
To simplify, Mr. Chair, that main control that you are talking about is responsible to make the electricity available or otherwise.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, you said that you have main control in Luzon, in Visayas, and Mindanao. My next question is, what is this operational computer in Nanjing?
I'm not aware of that, ma'am. Operational,
Operational computer in Nanjing. Nanjing, China, I believe.
I'm not aware of that, ma'am.
Well, based on reports, there is such a thing as operational computer in Nanjing, which is connected to the server in the Philippines that can control the availability of electricity in the country. Can you comment on this?
I'm not aware of that.
Is
Control,
it
yeah.
possible that this information is exclusive to the Chinese counterparts and not shared to the Filipino counterparts?
Based on our configurations of our control center, this cannot be controlled remotely through overseas, not even here, yes, here in
What is your basis for saying that it cannot be controlled remotely? Are you that expert?
Based on my experience and my knowledge, our SCADA system is actually isolated, ma'am. It's not connected in the internet, so you cannot easily control it remotely.
Without
Based
for-
on the design and the architecture.
I understand. With all due respect, but considering that our IT infrastructure, tama ba, is provided by the Chinese counterpart, or should I say, a Chinese corporation, I humbly submit that no matter how knowledgeable Filipino citizens are, the one who created the system no more and no better than the one operating the same. As a general statement, do you agree?
No, ma'am.
Ibig sabihin mo, you're the one using the system of China, mas marami kang alam kesa nag-create ng system?
No, ma'am. As I've said,
This is a
based-
general statement, NGCP. It is not my intention to undermine the technical know-how of people from the NGCP, but logically speaking, ang sabi, the creature cannot become higher than its creator. I believe that the one who created knows more and knows better about the system than the one using the system. Do you agree?
I disagree, ma'am. Say for example, bawa meron akong laptop, computer. It's made in the US or in China. That does not mean the manufacturer can remotely use my device. Kung analogy po, ma'am, ang pinag-uusapan.
No, I'm talking about the system as a whole and considering its use, the use of the system, considering that they were the ones who created it, it is my humble submission that no matter how expert we are, the one who created knows better about the system. That is a manifestation. We respect your position. To